Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined in the studio by Stevie Nichol. A little later on in the programme, we'll be looking at how France reacted to PSG's defeat against Manchester City in the Champions League. But we kick things off with a big story breaking in Manchester today. Reports suggesting that Ralf Rangnick is about to be appointed the new interim coach at Old Trafford. Of course, a man who's had so success in his roles as director of football. He was at Leipzig before, Schalke coach as well, winning the German Cup, runner-up in the Bundesliga as well back in 2005. For more on this, let's welcome in, look at all this lot here, Julien Laurent, Craig Burley, Nader Manua and Jana Arga-Fjortov. Jan, I feel drawn to you to wax lyrical about why this is such a good appointment first.
Well, first of all, I've got to describe him. When I played in Germany, he was a coach of Ulm. And when he came through, he wanted to learn the whole Germany, how they should mark in zones. And that's why when he got the name the Mad Professor of football, because they didn't like that in Germany. They liked their libero. And as you said, he had a lot of jobs in and around the football world, at Hoffenheim, at Red Bull, being the head of everything, more or less, in those clubs. So it doesn't surprise me that they're ending up taking him now, because this is sure that, yes, he will be the interim manager, but it will also help them to set up a sports, more or less, setup at the club. And I think that if Ralf Rangnick, who is a stubborn man who likes to decide more or less everything, he has told them, if I'm going to stay there, I also got to help you to find a permanent manager. And Jules, who I'm 100% sure will confirm, this is a man that feels that he knows more or less everything, because he means that he more or less educated all coaches in Germany. And to be fair to him, a lot of the coaches in and around Germany has been under him in the different clubs in Salzburg, in Leipzig, and Schalke and Hoffenheim.
Wait a minute, Jules. I didn't think Manchester United wanted someone to tell them what to do.
Yeah, and that's why this is fascinating, really. And I think we should all be very excited to see what happens once Rangnick arrives, how long it takes him to implement his philosophy, because he has such a clear identity of how his teams play, with a really, really aggressive intensity, aggressive press. He says all the time, there's no backward passes or sideway passes. All the passes should be forward. So this is going to be very exciting. I have to say, I'm very amazed that United chose him. Not because he's not good. He's one of the greatest thinkers of the games in the last 30 years. Like Jan rightly said, he has influenced and inspired a lot of coaches from to Tuchel, to Klopp, but even outside of Germany. It's just that he's a builder. That's what he does. He's a long-term guy. He's a planner. That's what he does. And a 6-month stint to fix a team that is dysfunctional, somewhere there's a paradox to me. And I'm just very excited to see how he does, but I don't think it's a given.
But he will stay. That is the thing, that he will stay on. This is a guy that will help them now as an interim coach till the summer, and some way he will then be a kind of head of sport. Ralf Rangnick can never stay at the club without trying to organize his house. Old Trafford will now be Rangnick house, and it's unbelievable that they've gone from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to Ralf Rangnick. I still can't believe it, but it's just funny, and it's going to be so exciting when the Glazers come to England and tell him, I want you to do this. And Ralf Rangnick say, Auf Wiedersehen, Auf Wiedersehen.
Jan, just explain to me then, as a man who wants all the power and control, why would he be happy to give it up after 6 months to another manager that's going to come in? And if I'm a manager coming in knowing that this person has this reputation, why would I want this job when I know the man upstairs is going to be telling me what I should be doing?
But first of all, Dan, I think that Ralf Rangnick has been more or less linked to every football club in the whole world the last 2 years. So he's always linked to any club. So I think that he comes to a time where he is a bit desperate to get a job. That is point one. But I also think that he will stay longer. I think that he will somehow, there will be something in the contract that he will stay on. And to have a sport director and head of sport, that is just in England that they don't have that. They do have that in other football countries. So that won't be a big problem. But I think, on a serious note, that for Manchester United, when you see how the club is run, take out Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Moyes, Van Gaal, and the Mourinhos of the world, I think the sports setup at Manchester United haven't been good. And if you need someone to build that setup, Ralf Rangnick is the right man. And but it's still going to be excitement because these are so much clash of personalities. I don't even know where to start.
Craig Burley.
Well, somebody switched the light on in the room at Manchester United and peeked in the door and realised there was a bunch of idiots running around making the decisions. And finally, somebody has at least made a common sense decision here, because I echo everything that the boys have said. Look, we don't know exactly how they will play and how successful it will be, but at least they'll have some organisation. At least there'll be no excuses for the players. There'll be a kick up the backside. At least they can advise those at the club who have been ill-advised or have made some bad decisions about the football structure and where they go from here and who they potentially bring in as long-term manager, and have a bit of structure about signings and personnel and everything that goes with it. And finally, it seems on the face of it that this is one of the better decisions this club has made for a while. And I think if you're a United fan, you should be happy about that. And I think if you're a United player, you have to understand that you're going to have to up your standards big time. So all in all, this is on the face of who is available at the moment and at the face of what they need and the whole structure at Man United, this is a pretty good signing.
Nathan, from a player's perspective, if you're in that Manchester United dressing room, how committed are you to this project knowing that he's only there for, say, 6 months?
I think the fact that you said he's only there for 6 months, that's 6 months as a coach. But if he's to continue on in that role doing something else, then you do have to respect him. But for everything that the guys have said there, what's catching me out a little bit is if he's got the ability and the uniqueness in terms of how he gets his teams to play, then after the end of the season, is the next person going to have to play the same football in his image? And as a consequence, the team's going to have to rebuild itself again? Or is he going to be staying on? Like, I don't quite understand that element of it, because everything else seems great with the sporting director and all that stuff. But if he's got a unique style of play and stuff like that, then, like I say, then what's the point in this 6 months? I really, really don't understand that bit.
He did that in Leipzig. Then he picked out his successor, which will be then Julian Nagelsmann. But they couldn't get Julian Nagelsmann at the time, so Ralf Rangnick did it himself till he came. But the interesting thing also for the players is that when he buys players, he likes them to be under 23, and they want them to be fast. It's going to be quick players. Don't play the ball backwards, under 23 and fast. So have a look in the dressing room of Manchester United, who will kind of be one of them.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.